Hey team, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be here today. It is finally my school holidays and I've got some time to execute all of the sewing plans that have been going on in my mind for the last 10 weeks. I'm really excited to take you through a tutorial on how to make this dress here today. I made this Pinterest board a little while ago and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since. So today I'm going to talk you through all of the changes that I made to my Sundae dress to create this bad boy here. So I'm going to talk you through how to make the Peter Pan collar, how to make godets and attach them, and to get this result. So yeah. I normally wear a size 10 in the Sundae dress, but I've printed out a size 14 in this case because the godets require a little bit more seam allowance, and I figured I can kind of adjust it as I go to fit, and it's far better to be too big than too small. First change we're going to make to the pattern is we are going to create a V neckline. Now my depth from the original neckline was about 14 centimeters, but I suggest measuring your own, and then I'm just going to fold that under like so. Next up, we're going to start making our Peter Pan collar. So you're going to need the measurement from the bottom of your front piece up to the shoulder and then across to the center back. So your collar should be the exact same shape. So as you can see here, this matches my center front, and then if I fold the other part under, it matches the back. I've also just got my shoulder seam marked there as well because this might come in handy later on when we're putting it together. In terms of the shape of your collar, you can go with whatever you want, but I've popped my measurements here just in case you'd like to make the same as me. The next pattern piece we need is a godet, which is basically a triangle shape. Here are the measurements for mine. You can make it as deep or as wide as you like, depending on how much volume you want, and just make sure that you curve the bottom a little bit. My partner Daz recently went to Japan, and of course I sent him on a fabric shopping mission, and this is one of the pieces that he got for me, which I think is just perfect for this project. And I just went down to Spotlight and grabbed some lace, which I thought would make a nice addition for the godets. You're going to need some facings for your dress as well, so you just need to cut a center front and two center backs, and I just usually do them around waist length. These are the exact same pattern pieces but just shortened. The next step is to sew all of your panels together according to the Sundae dress instructions, but you want to leave 40 centimeters from the hem for each of the panels. This allows room for the godet to fit. Then we're going to use right sides of each of the fabrics, and we're going to attach the godets starting from the hemline and then just working our way up one side until we get to the very top, and then we're going to work our way up the other side of the triangle doing the exact same thing. Then we are going to stitch all of the godets in place. Now this can be quite an exhausting process, but it's well worth it in the end. I'll give you a little close-up of exactly how to do it here. So I start at the hem of one side, and I'm just using the 3/8 of an inch or the 1 centimeter guideline, and sewing my way all the way to the top of the triangle. Then I'm going to start at the top of the triangle where the stitching line from the previous one ended and work my way down to the hem. Now it's really important that you've just got the two layers of fabric, so you've got the godet and then you've got the little seam allowance that's left over from the 40 centimeter line that you sewed to. I hope that makes sense. Next up, we have got our collar. So we've got our 4 pieces here, and I've got them right sides facing. Now I'm also going to add some lace to mine, but this is completely optional. I'm going to sandwich it in between the layers. Clip your collar pieces in place, making sure that you're sandwiching the lace between the 2 layers if you are using it. We don't need to do the inside part because that is going to be hidden within our sewing in a later stage. The next step is you are going to sew all the way around where the clips are, and then you're going to flip your collar right sides out and give it a really good press with the iron. If you need to clip any of the curves, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you don't clip into any of the stitch line. Sometimes this can just help turn things out the right way in a tidy fashion. Next up, we are going to attach our collar pieces. So I'm doing this part first before attaching the facing, and I'm just making sure that I'm lining up all of the different parts, so the shoulder line and the center front. Now I'm going to do all of my sewing in one big whirl, but you can stay stitch this to keep it in place before you add the facing if you want to. Next up, with right sides facing, I'm going to get my facing pieces, which I've already sewn at the shoulder seam, and I'm going to place them down on my existing dress, like I said, right sides together, and I'm going to pin inside that neckline all the way up to the center back. Before adding the zip in, I always do a try on at this stage to see whether there's any adjustments. Sometimes with princess seams there can be a little bit of gaping, which you need to adjust by just doing a little pinch of the seam. For me, I think I'm going to add some darts to the side seams because it's just ever so slightly too big for me. Next up, we are going to do the zipper. Now I'm just making sure everything's sitting nice and flat. Now when we're doing a zip, we want to make sure that the zipper edge is facing away from the center, okay? So you want to have the tape edge in line with the center back. And I'm just lining up that little metal nodule. I don't know what the name of that actually is, but I'm lining that up with the seam that is at the top and then pinning all the way down to the bottom of the zip. Then I'm going to use a zipper foot to sew that in place, and then I will come back and do the other side. When doing zips, you want to make sure that everything is straight and that your zip is the right way around. Sometimes you can sew it in place and then find that it's tangled, and there's nothing more infuriating, and this is possibly why people absolutely hate putting zippers in. But I'm doing exactly the same process here. I am making sure the tape side is on the center back and that little nodule is in place, and then I'm pinning all the way down, and then I'm going to stitch it. Before sewing it together, I always like to check that nothing's tangled, everything's around the right way, to avoid any unpicking scenarios. Now we're going to hide the little zipper end within the facing, so I'm going to fold that back and then downwards, and then I'm going to continue pinning our 1 centimeter seam allowance with that facing towards the side of the zip. Now, to be honest, if I wasn't being lazy here, I would have actually pressed that facing down by 1 centimeter before doing this. It would just make the process significantly easier and probably tidier, so definitely do that. Next up, we are going to close off the center back, just like in Sundae instructions. You could add a godet here. For me, I actually had a zip that was a bit too long, so I chose not to, but definitely an option if you'd like it. Ended up adding some sleeves to the dress. I just felt like it kind of suited me a little bit more than it being sleeveless, and I've hemmed it, which means I am now finished. And considering I don't make dark clothes that often, except for this one and this one, I am completely obsessed with it, guys. Oh my gosh. Check it out. Oh, she's so cute. I actually love it. And I wasn't sure if this idea was going to work out. I just started filming and I was like, let's pray, let's pray. But it actually worked. Thank you so much for being here, team. I really appreciate it. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and supporting my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you end up making this dress, I would love for you guys to tag at MyKeeperNZ on either Instagram or TikTok. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Bye!